Welcome to the Widowed Mom Podcast, episode 323, When Life After Loss Feels Hard.
Welcome to the Widowed Mom Podcast, the only podcast that offers a proven process to help you work through your grief, to grow, evolve, and create a future you can truly look forward to. Here's your host, Master Certified Life Coach, grief expert, widow, and mom, Krista St-Germain.
Hey there, welcome to another episode of the podcast. Today I want to talk about something I think a lot of us experience after loss, even if we don't always say it out loud, and that's what to do when it just feels hard. You don't have to be early in grief. You don't have to be drowning. Sometimes life after loss is heavy, no matter how long it's been or what's going on, right? Sometimes it just feels heavy and hard. So in this episode, I'm going to walk you through why your brain might be telling you everything is too much, a deeper look at how we relate to what feels hard, and I want to offer you a framework that you can use to help you feel more supported without needing to change everything, without needing to control things you can't, but I think it's going to help. So, update from my world. By the time you listen to this, I should be packing up the very last of the boxes and working on the new house. At the time of the recording, and fingers crossed that all things go smoothly, the move is scheduled for August 5th. So you should be hearing this on the 4th. So I will be in the very back end of packing. Also, I will have successfully navigated the 9th death anniversary of Hugo's passing. August 1st was the day that Hugo died in 2016. And it's interesting how, this will be my 9th one. They've all felt so different. And this one, as I come up to it, feels, I don't want to say harder, but different. And in some ways, more impactful maybe than others in the past, primarily because I miss him so much. Having gone through what I've been through this year and the breakup and selling my house and all the things, I'm also watching my brain romanticize how that never would have happened with Hugo and how life would have been better if he'd been there. Now, is that true? I have zero idea. Maybe yes, maybe no, but I do understand why my brain is looking for ways out of the pain. I understand why my brain is probably looking for ways to avoid feeling powerless and to feel a little more powerful, to feel less sad. And sometimes that involves anger. And the human ecosystem is just like that, right? It's fun like that. So the good news is that there's nowhere I'm telling myself I should be. I hope you will adopt that way of thinking. And I have lots of tools to fall back on. I didn't have when Hugo died. That's what I want for you too. So I'm glad you're here and I'm glad you're listening. Also, the other thing that will have happened by the time you listen is that the 25th anniversary year of Heather's Camp will be in the books. Heather's Camp is a camp for kids who are blind or visually impaired, started in memory of my sweet Delta Gamma sister, Heather Moeller. And we have been doing this camp now. This will be our 25th year. It's hard to believe we've had that many years without Heather in this world, but it's just still wild to me that it's been 25 years. Also, Heather's Camp was the camp that Hugo and I were coming back from when the accident happened that resulted in his death. So it's a emotionally charged time, right? So I'll be closing. By the time you're listening to it, it will have already happened, but Heather's Camp will be 27th, 28th, 29th, 30th. And then I come back. I have one day at home. I close on both houses on the 1st, and then move needs to be done by the 5th. So, woo! And death anniversary on the 1st as well, closing on that house on that day. Okay, let's talk about when life after loss feels hard, shall we? And it's very timely for me, which is why I wrote this podcast episode, because the other day I realized that I was doing it again and that I was watching my brain stack up all the things that felt hard. Things about the move, business decisions, some personal things that I wasn't expecting to feel so emotional about. And it objectively was not a crisis, but it felt like a lot. And I could tell, I could watch my brain scan for evidence of how it was too much It's too hard. It's not going well. It's another thing I have to deal with right now. Shouldn't be happening right now either, right? It's a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. That's what I was watching my brain do. And I caught it, no judgment, but I could see it. And we call this cognitive diffusion, right? Where we can defuse from our own cognitions. We can see that we are the thinker of our thoughts and also see the thoughts themselves. Now, it took me a while I was seeing it and also believing it, which is an interesting space to be in. But I'm so glad that I could catch it because what I know is that once a brain gets into everything is hard mode, it's just going to keep finding evidence that everything is hard, right? Terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. And then that's all we see. That's all we see. Human brains are pattern seeking machines. They like predictability. They want to keep us safe. And one of the things that they do very, very well is they filter the world through whatever story we're already in. So if you have latched onto this is too much or it's too hard, then your brain will, without your conscious permission, start looking for things that confirm that. It's confirmation bias. It's not bad, it's not wrong. It's just the human brain doing human brain things. Plus, when we're tired, physically tired, emotionally tired, we're tired, we have fewer resources to even interrupt that process. So it grows. And the heaviness grows and the story grows and the evidence mounts and all of a sudden it is a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. So, sounds like I don't have any good news. I do have good news. Here it is. The moment you have noticed what your brain is doing, you've already created a little bit of space. The moment you have noticed what your brain is doing, you're no longer in the story. You're actually starting to watch the story. And from that place, the place of the watcher, the place from which we can identify as the thinker and not the thoughts, that place gives us options. Doesn't mean we're going to change everything about our day. We're probably not. But it does mean we get to shift how we're relating to the moment, how we are relating to the facts at hand. Okay? And that's where what I want to talk to you about today comes in. So when things feel hard and we are perceiving a problem, we need one of two things to happen. And I learned this from Melissa Tiers, by the way. I learned it in this way from Melissa Tiers. She would probably use different tools to get us there, but I want to give her credit because it had a profound impact on me, which is that we either need to decrease our problem state or we need to increase our resource state. In order for collapse to happen, right, in order for the problem to collapse, we either need to decrease the problem state or increase our resource state. What do I mean by that? Your problem state is the way that you're relating to what is happening. It's not the situation in and of itself. It's the meaning your brain is assigning to the problem. It's the way that you are experiencing it in your body. It's the tension, it's the pressure. It's the thoughts like, this shouldn't be happening. I can't handle this. It's too much. If I don't do it perfectly, it's all going to fall apart. I'm already behind, right? These ways of relating to what is happening to us. The perceived problem is our problem state. Resource state, what does that mean? Resource state is the way that we relate to our ability to meet the moment. It's the way that we are thinking of our ability to handle it. It is how resourced we are to deal with what is in front of us. And this is not just mindset. This includes very physical things. So how nourished are we? Are we eating well? How rested are we? Are we sleeping well? How frazzled are we? How maxed out are we? Do we feel connected to ourselves? Do we feel supported by others? What are we thinking? It's also mindset about our own capacity. What do we believe about our ability to handle the perceived problem? Because mindset is part of the resource state. We don't want to say it's only mindset. But do we tell ourselves we can't handle it, or do we tell ourselves that we've done hard things before and we can also get through this? It can sound like, yeah, this is a lot. Like we're not going to the land of fairy tales here and be like, this is no problem. This is so easy. Sometimes maybe that's accessible, but very often when life is feeling hard, that is not accessible. It actually kind of feels offensive when you try to tell yourself something like that. This feels like a lot. This is a lot. And I'm pretty good at supporting myself. I know how to support myself. I don't love this moment. And I'm not powerless in this moment. I can do hard things. So both the problem state and the resource state are created by our perceptions of those things. That's how we are as humans, right? That's how we roll. So there are facts of the problem, like money owed, or words your sister-in-law said to you. Your person died. Facts. And then there are also facts of the resource state, like how much rest you got last night, what's happening with your hormones, how hydrated are you, like, right? There are facts about the resources. And while we cannot do anything about the facts that are in front of us, we can do something about our perceptions of those things. Does this make sense? Sometimes the facts in front of us are not going to change right away. Sometimes they're not going to change at all. So, right in front of me, the house still needs to be packed. I'm dealing with a unexpected roof inspection problem. Gonna have to deal with that. There it is. Still not done. The emotions still feel pretty intense sometimes. The to-do list still exists. Your hormones are what they are, right? And then sometimes the facts, it's not just like a temporary thing. Like they're never going to change. Your person's not coming back. That's not going to change. Your sister-in-law said what she said. Maybe she'll change. Maybe she won't. And that's the way of it. The good news that I hope you will hear from me is that you don't have to change everything about the situation in order to shift your experience of it and how you relate to it. So we can either decrease the problem state or we can increase the resource state. And when we do that long enough, we will experience a shift. The problem will collapse. So that might mean, it might mean softening the story that you tell yourself about how hard it is. You might even choose to believe that it's not that hard. That's what I've been doing with the move. Because is it really that hard? Then I'm like, I'm letting you into what it's like to be in my head. I'm like, man, this is hard. And then I'm like, is it really that hard though? I mean, what are we doing here? We're making some lists of things and we're doing things on those lists. We're calling people, we're arranging things, we're having conversations, we're making decisions, we're putting things in boxes. Do I want to think of that as hard? Maybe I don't. Now, this feels like a fine line to me. I'm not gaslighting myself. I'm not saying that when I experience something as hard, that it shouldn't be hard. I'm not being mean to myself when I experience something as hard. I'm actually being very supportive of myself and very kind to myself. And I'm looking for how it actually could be easy or easier. So I am increasing the resource state by taking good care of myself. I am decreasing the problem state by looking for how it's not as hard as my brain wants to tell me that it is. Another example could be, you could decide that your sister-in-law's words don't have any power over you. Even if your nervous system does not agree, right? Even if your nervous system responds to her words like you got sucker punched or jump scared. I don't know if that's a verb or not, but you're with me, right? Even if you feel the oof of those words, you can still decide that they have no power over you, that all humans have opinions, just like they have other things. I've a, you know that phrase, right? I'm not going to say it on the podcast, but I can hear my dad saying it. All humans have opinions. She's one of them. Decreasing the problem state. Increasing the resource state could look like I can handle her opinions. I still get to choose no matter what word she says. What else can we do for our resource state? We can remind ourselves that we can figure this out. We don't have to do it all at once. We can tell ourselves, though, I can figure this out. Everything is figure outable, as Marie Forleo coined. I can do hard things, which is a brilliant name for a podcast. Thank you, Glennon Doyle. We can go for a walk. Did you know that when you go for a walk, it's so helpful to your nervous system? Just the fact that your eyes move from side to side of the road gives you that bilateral left brain, right brain thing that is so calming to the nervous system. You can just go for a walk, increases your resource state. You can say no to a commitment or a request that you want to say no to. You can rest instead of pushing through. You can give yourself permission to rest. You can remind yourself that feeling overwhelmed doesn't mean you are overwhelmed. You can text a friend and ask for support. You can let the tears flow because they are right there in your throat and they need to. You can charge your phone across the room at night so that your sleep hygiene improves. You can get blue light blocking glasses so that when you do scroll before you plug in your phone across the room at night, it's not so impactful on your sleep. You could use a meal service. You could batch cook so that you get the nutrition that your body needs. All of these things are ways to increase your resource state. Just because your to-do list is as long as it is, doesn't mean you have to do everything on it. You could go hacking into that list and decrease the problem state. Do you see what I'm talking about? We're looking at how do I relate to what is in front of me? And am I letting my unsupervised brain run the show with all the scary stories it's trying to tell me about how awful it is and how I'll never be able to handle it? How am I resourcing myself to deal with life? Am I taking good care of myself? Am I telling myself that I am more capable, or am I trash talking myself? So sometimes I am thinking about increasing my resource state. Sometimes I am focused on going to bed a little bit earlier. But this is one of my focuses right now because I have noticed that I have been wanting to scroll late at night. So as I'm talking about charging the phone across the room, I'm talking to you, but I'm also talking to me. It's funny how we go through ebbs and flows in life, but like going to bed a little bit earlier, getting the blue light blocking glasses at night, charging my phone across the room, these are increasing my resource state. Eating something that is nourishing, drinking more water. That was a big focus for me yesterday because I noticed the other day I didn't hardly drink any water. Laughing, asking for help. I'm going and laying in the pool and taking a break. I'm tapping proactively before my emotions feel intense. I'm reminding myself that I am a badass who has done a lot of hard things and will do many, many more. And then other times, I'm working with my problem state. I'm noticing the story that I'm in, right? That this is too much story, that this is hard story. I'm questioning that urgency, that perfectionism that wants to show up. I'm asking myself, is this really the crisis that my brain is making it out to be? Is this really that hard? I'm looking for how things could be easier than my brain is telling me that they are. I'm looking for how it isn't a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. Are you with me? This is not about overhauling your whole life. This is little shifts in these areas. I'm decreasing the problem state, I'm increasing the resource state, and the collapse will happen. So think about it like the scales of justice. Can you picture those scales of justice? Right? You've got the thing in the middle, the scales hanging on either side of it, and they tip up and down. We need one of them, right? So if we decrease decrease the problem state, then one goes down. If we increase the resource state, the other goes up. At a certain point, when we do that, the problem collapses. Right? Can you get the visual on that? That's what we're doing. We reach a tipping point, the scale shifts. And we can't control every component of that, but we get to play an incredibly active role in making the shift happen. And we have to remind ourselves that we can do that. Decrease the problem state, increase the resource state, and then the shift happens. The collapse happens. So if today feels heavy, if it feels hard, ask yourself, what's the story my brain is telling about what's hard right now? Do I want to listen to that story? How can I take great care of myself if I'm experiencing something as hard? I don't have to make myself wrong for the experience that I'm having, and I get to choose what I want to ask my brain to look for. How am I thinking about myself in this moment and my capacity to deal with this challenging situation? Do I need to shift how I'm relating to the problem? Do I need to shift how I'm relating to my ability to handle it? If we want a different experience of a perceived problem, we either have to decrease the problem state or increase the resource state. When one of those two things happens, we will feel a shift. If you want help learning how to do that, how to actually support yourself through grief in a way that works, not just the surface level stuff like affirmations and bubble baths and massages and journaling. Like the stuff that helps you love your life again, that is what I am on this planet to do. So go check out coachingwithkrista.com. You can see which of my offerings is best for you. And I hope you feel heard today. It's such a common experience for many of us that we feel like life is hard. It feels hard. We experience it as hard. Doesn't mean we're doing anything wrong. When we are believing it's hard, our brain will gather evidence for how hard it is, and it will make it so much harder to see anything that doesn't line up with hard. So we can respond by shifting our problem state, which is the story we're telling ourselves about what's happening. We can respond by shifting our resource state, which is how well we're caring for ourselves and how we're talking to ourselves about our abilities to handle something. Both of those things are within our ability to do. I encourage you to try it. I really hope it helps. That's what I have for you this week. If this episode helped, would you take a second to leave a review, or would you share it with another widow who might need it? And if you click the little subscribe button, you will not miss next week's episode. And I will see you there. All right. Remember, I love you. You've got this. Take care. And I'll see you next week. Bye-bye. If you like what you've been hearing on this podcast and want to create a future you can truly get excited about even after the loss of your spouse, I invite you to join my Mom Goes On coaching program. It's small group coaching just for widowed moms like you, where I'll help you figure out what's holding you back and give you the tools and support you need so you can move forward with confidence. Please don't settle for a new normal that's less than what you deserve. Go to coachingwithkrista.com and click Work With Me for details and next steps. I can't wait to meet you.